freedom in this country? I think we do. Do we have editorial freedom? I think we have too much of it in some cases. I mean, you and I have both seen that we've hanged people before they've actually been hung. I mean, in this country, you don't get hanged for a long, long time.
I have no complaints, Suhel. You may have complaints. I have absolutely no complaints. Let me get it.
No, I have no complaints. The amount I have written again, if I had to be...
Let me get Vineet Narain.
The amount of people I've abused, I should be in jail permanently, but that's another matter.
Possibly.
I value the editorial freedom that this country accords.
It's Vineet Narain. It's not a ban, but the court has put a stay on the publication of the book. Now, if it is established he has personal scores to settle, is that a reason for banning the publication of the book, perhaps? But it has to be established.
Well, Arnab, I have to make 2 points. A, so far as the right to freedom of expression is concerned, I think court is not right in banning the book. R K Anand, according to Suhel, may have any credential, but has full freedom to write what he wants to,
sure,
as long as he is willing to own his writing. If he is able to defend his allegations, or if he is not able to defend his allegation, he will be sued by Niira Radia, he will have to face the music. The other issue is that ever since the Radia tape have come out, so much noise is being made about this whole issue. And I've been in journalism for 3 decades, and I know this is not an isolated case of journalists or lobbyists or people, influencing the government policies and decision and cabinet formation. I know for sure that this game is going on for quite some time. And I know corporate houses in this country who have been dictating terms whom to be appointed petroleum secretary or finance secretary or be a cabinet minister. There are chief ministers who have even asked editors to remove particular reporter because he was not reporting as per their whims and their fancies. So I mean, it's good that everything should come out in public domain, and people who have become larger than life size, whether they are media personalities or lobbyists like Niira Radia, should be exposed.
Good point. So, personal score or not, personal score or not, as one of our viewers is tweeting us, I want to read this out. Is it a crime or a gimmick to bring to light with proof economic crimes that cause a loss to the nation? That's one point here. R K Anand, you are going to hold a press conference tomorrow. You've been already charged with defamation. She's going to sue you with defamation. You're only aggravating the charge against yourself, Mr. Anand.
The press conference, I'll give my response. I forget about the defamation. You tell me, what is the defamation for? A lady who cheats a foreign client, a foreign company, a lady who cheats me, does he have a respect? A lady who has been declared bankrupt in London, not in 1, in 10 companies, does she have a respect? A lady who has cheated the country for 1,73,000 crores and she thinks that she is a part of the kitchen cabinet of the Prime Minister. What kind of respect she has got?
But that's your subjective assessment.
What respect she is talking about?
No, that's your subjective assessment. She doesn't
command any respect.
That's your subjective assessment. I'm getting reactions coming into the strong comments you're making. This is only going to get more controversial this way.
Arnab, I want to make a comment.
Mr. Rohatgi wants to respond.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
two, three things. It's ironical that it is coming from Mr. R K Anand, a famous criminal lawyer, about somebody cheating somebody, where he himself has been indicted and he has admitted that he was involved in the bribing of prosecution witnesses in the sting, because he has apologized to the Supreme Court, number 1. Number 2, I heard Aarti talking about the fact that public should know what is going on. But whatever I have been hearing of Mr. Anand for the last 15 minutes is only money, money and money. There's somebody who owes money to somebody. He is forgetting that any communication between a client and a lawyer is privileged. It's not to be made public. That's the law.
No, there are two questions.
Ultimately, you have to. Let me make the last point. As Suhel said, privacy is there and so is editorial freedom. As Mr. Vineet Narain said, both the rights are competing rights and fundamental rights in the Constitution. Both rights have to be harmonized. Now, if you have editorial freedom, it does not mean that you can pick up a book and write 47 pages.
Mr. Rohatgi, what is the issue?
Against
what
anybody.
is the issue? What is the issue? The issue is 1 minute, Mr. Rohatgi. What is the issue? Is the issue what is in the book, or is the issue who has written it? Or are you drawing an inference?
No, I'm not. No.
Because there is a quote. There's an editor of the book called Indrajit Badhwar, who's a very well-known journalist.
Yes. All right. Let's leave the person who has written the book.
Yes.
47 pages of this book purport to be the truth. there is not a legal scrap of evidence for those 47 pages except malice, which is actuated by the fact that there is some souring of relationship between a client and a lawyer. That is the reason for those 47 pages. We have said nothing in the case filed in the court in relation to the Radia tapes. Radia tapes are a matter of now common knowledge. But nobody has a right to, just tear down somebody's reputation in a book and then say, sue me for defamation, which will take 20 years, by which time somebody's right to privacy, which is guaranteed under Article 20 of the Constitution, is finished and violated. Therefore, there has to be some balance on both sides. You can't say, just sue me, because we know
without doubt,
going to
Mr.
happen for 20 years, and by that time I have done everything.
Mr. Rohatgi, you need to maintain reputation or whatever is left of it. I do agree with you. Aarti can respond, and then I'll go back to Suhel. Aarti.
Yeah, well, you know, Arnab, the point is the book is already out. It's been in the market for a month.
Exactly.
You know, now to say that there is a stay on it is, I think, you know, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, the best thing would be for the court to decide whether it's defamatory or not, do it fast, and then decide whether the book should be withdrawn or not. I mean, there's no point putting a stay and then having this case go on for months and years, like most of our cases do.
I think
but,
the publishers...
you know, the point is that... Sorry? Yeah, so, you know, I mean, I think the case should be decided really fast, and then let the court decide whether it is indeed defamatory, as Niira Radia is alleging. But I personally feel that the story of Niira Radia needs to come out in the public because it really exposes the seamy side of our governance. And I think it's important that all of us should know how decisions are taken, what is the kind of, you know, wheeling dealing that goes on behind the scenes, things that we've talked about for years, but nobody has really written about. This is the first time that things are coming out in the public, and I think it's good if at all we can do a, you know, some kind of a cleanup of the system.
Yeah, but this book is a little disappointing because, you know, you got 70% of the book, which is just what we've already read, and 30% of it is what is being being questioned here. I think the publishers will actually be thanking Niira Radia for suing R K Anand and making this a bigger story. Yes, very quickly, Mr. Nikam. Yes, then I come to you, sir. Mr. Nikam.
Arnab, the point of the matter is that, you know, as you rightly said, the 70% of the book is the tapes, but the tapes itself have been compiled. In fact, I did the compilation and I have analyzed it. See, the fact of the matter is that here is a book in which all the essential tapes which were there in the which were out in the public domain have been compiled and put in an order in different categories. So it is easy for the reader to read. Apart from that fact, the fact of the matter is it really exposes the system in this country, the way it has been completely, you know, manipulated by various people, by corporates, by media, by the, you know, there is a complete indictment of the entire system. So I personally think that this whole case which has gone before the High Court is more to stop people from knowing all these things. And please remember, these tapes which are there out in the public domain is just 10% of the tapes which are still there with the CBI and which has not come out in the public domain.
So
and I personally feel that these kind of cases are being filed to see that the remaining tapes don't come out in the public domain.
In other words,
it's very essential. In fact, we should all be fighting to say that, you know, the remaining tape should be put out in the public domain.
In other words,
second thing I want, very important point, what I want to make is
I want to make a comment.
That the Supreme Court has refused to ban the release of the tapes.
Suhel.
So when the Supreme Court has refused to ban the release of the tape, why should there be a ban on the books?
Okay, fine, Mr. Nikam. Suhel.
What?
My question to you is that this is all these complaints, inevitably, all the issues that you have are actually, my other panelists are saying, they're excuses to hide the real story. The story of sleaze, corruption,
I mean, you
nepotism.
Know, you and I are, I don't know if you remember, but I certainly do. November 18 News Hour, Vinod Mehta, you and I discussed that very evening on the day on which the tapes were actually out. And at that point in time, I said, and I will repeat, if a law has been broken, if a cabinet minister has been appointed, and if there is an act of public corruption, let the law take its course. A. B. To create a web of suspicion and tarnish people's reputations is a no-no. I agree with Aarti, there is a salaciousness, there is sleaze, but for God's sake, it wasn't invented by Niira Radia or by R K Anand. I mean, you and I don't know that the system's been fixable for years. So here's what I suggest. The Delhi High Court has taken a decision. Let Times Now or civil society run a movement, as Aarti said, for judgment that is delivered effectively. So that you don't make a mockery, because this is actually a damn good marketing exercise. If I were the publisher, I would actually go and give Miss Radia a nice large cake to say thank you for upping my sales. I mean, look at the amount of viewers watching News Hour today.
Miss Radia should...
I mean, they'll all be rushing out to buy the book. Except that if pages 1 to 47 are on the net, thanks to Mr. Anand, then they don't need to buy the book as well.
Well, Miss Radia is not speaking on the record. If she does, we will follow up. We'll ask her these questions. Suhel, and to all my guests this evening, thank you very much. We are still following the big story.